up, YouTube? We're back with another episode of What the Hell Am I Doing? We're back this week with yet another episode of Spicy Sports Betting. And this one's going to be a little different. If you're wondering what the thumbnail means, double down. Yeah, it's a new thing that I'm going to do this week. It's something I've toyed with in the past but never actually done. And I'll explain why. First of all, last week I bet on 3 fights for Super Saturday. If you missed the video, I'll tell you the fights right now real quick. I first bet on Li Jingliang versus Daniel Rodriguez. I picked Jingliang, sorry. I picked him to win the fight, and he didn't. That was my first bet of the night, and I was wrong. However, I thought he won the fight. I thought he outfought Rodriguez. I thought Rodriguez had a pretty good last round, but I thought otherwise he was pretty much losing the fight. A lot of other people thought the same thing. They weren't really sure what the judges were thinking. I personally feel Jingliang got ripped off in that fight. He should have won. But that was the one I was wrong on. The next fight I bet on was Khamzat versus Kevin Holland. That was a quick one. Khamzat just dominated him with wrestling. Like I said, he probably would. He used it to his full advantage. He didn't even try to stand up with him. It was as soon as the glove tap happened, he was already taking him down. And that's all there was to that fight. It was an easy win. And predictably so, as I said, Holland struggles against wrestlers, and he wasn't even preparing for a fight with wrestling. So that happens. And then the last fight was Nate Diaz versus Tony Ferguson. It was a bit of an interesting fight. I mean, both those guys are definitely past their prime and past the point of where people were really excited to see them fight. However, it was a pretty good fight. It was a better fight than probably what the original fight was planned to be as the main event between Diaz and Chimaev. Diaz outstruck him with his hands. Tony tried to use the leg kicks. Like I said, he would try to take out Diaz's legs. And he did do a lot of damage, and then Diaz started to kind of like toy with him and play around with him. I don't know what he was trying to do. I think he was trying to goad him into more of a stand-up war. But, it ended up dragging on for a bit, and then later in the fight, Tony Ferguson fell right into a fucking, he fell right into a guillotine, and that was the end of the fight. He got submitted. So, Diaz obviously was training to try to catch Chimaev in a guillotine because as soon as he was in position, it was locked in already. And it was late in the fight when they were sweaty and slick, and he still locked it in. So good on Diaz. It was a good way to end his UFC career. If that is in fact the end, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I was correct on that fight. So I went 2 for 3. So I'm supposed to do a punishment today, which I told you I was going to do the Flaming Hot challenge again with my Champs Power Flakes. I was going to do a teaspoon per fight lost. So I was going to do a teaspoon today. However, tomorrow I'm going exploring, and I'm going early. And I won't have time to film the video tomorrow. And if I do this now, I'm going to suffer from angry ass all day, and I don't want to have that happen when I'm in abandoned houses. So I wanted to give you guys a video this weekend, but I wanted to do something a little different. And we'll see how this goes. So tonight is a big fight. It's Canelo versus Triple G3. Saul Canelo Alvarez versus Gennady Golovkin. They fought twice before. The first fight was a draw. The second fight, Canelo won. Since then, Canelo has moved up and fought bigger guys, and Gennady's had about 4 fights, I think. Most recently, his last fight, I didn't think he looked great. He started really slow, but then he kind of picked it up and then won by knockout later in the fight. Canelo lost his most recent fight, but he stepped up to fight a light heavyweight and a much bigger man and a really good boxer. And Canelo really couldn't do anything. He tried to outbox him. He couldn't. He tried to outpower him. He couldn't make contact. He lost. That was the second loss of his career. But no one's really looking down on it because he stepped up to a big challenge, and, that's okay. That's what happens sometimes. You can't keep going up in weight. I did mention that when I picked that fight, that, there's going to be a point where you can't keep going up, you're going to hit the wall. And unfortunately for Canelo, it was that fight. So he's back down to 168 for this fight with Gennady tomorrow, or tonight, because this video is coming out on Saturday. And, now Gennady's 40 and Canelo is 32. Canelo is still in his prime, but I think he might be showing signs of slowing down. The last fight might have showed that. Maybe it was because of the size. Or maybe he's getting a little war-torn. Obviously, the more he fights, we're going to see what is going on. But that being said, I'm going to double down on this fight. So what that means is instead of doing the teaspoon that I was going to do last week, I'm going to bet 2 in the Flaming Hot Challenge on the fight that's tonight. And if I lose tonight, it'll be the Flaming Hot Challenge with 2 teaspoons of Champ's Power Flakes, which will suck. And I'll make sure I can do it at a time where I can, suffer for a day or two. So I apologize if you guys are disappointed, but I figured this would be a fun way to spin it into something cool, a little more risky. We'll see how it goes, because I think this fight actually can go either way still. I'm going to pick Canelo. I think he's still in his prime. I think he's bigger than he was their last fight. I think he got better in the second fight, and now that they're older, he's still in his prime and Gennady is not. So I don't see how Gennady's going to be better in this fight. However, he still has that puncher's chance, and if he comes out like the old Gennady and tries to hit the body in the head a lot, he might rough up Canelo. He might be able to do it. Canelo is hittable, but he's going to be quicker because he's lighter. He's still going to be bigger than he was the last time, and Canelo is aggressive and can punch. So it's going to be an interesting fight. I think Canelo personally is going to come out pretty aggressive in this one. I think he's going to try to avenge the loss that he had last fight. So I think he's going to try to come out super aggressive and super hungry. And I think he is going to try to put away Golovkin this time. And Gennady, he better not start slow, because if he does start slow, he's going to be too far behind to win the fight. He will not be able to win a decision. He will not be able to outbox Canelo. He's going to have to go after him. He's going to have to try to put him away. And for Gennady, it would be important to do that because he is getting late in his career. If this were to be his last fight, he would definitely want to go out on top. So there's a lot of risk for both guys. There's a lot of reasons to pick both guys. I just personally can't see Canelo losing his third fight and losing 2 in a row. Not at this point. Not to a 40-year-old Gennady. But he can get caught, and if Canelo is too aggressive, he will get caught. But yeah, I'm going to double down on my bet, and I'm picking Canelo to win the fight. And that's what we're going to do. And if I lose tonight, there'll be no doubling down. Next week will be punishment. All right, well, that's all there is to it. We got to get this edited and uploaded. I got a long day tomorrow, so I hope you guys enjoy the fights. I hope that you guys have a good weekend. I hope you all join me for my next premiere tomorrow night at 8 p.m., which is Sunday, of course, if you don't know. Sunday the 18th of September, 8 p.m. Join me live for the next premiere of my Abandoned Exploring videos. But that's all we got for today. Make sure you comment. Make sure you hit that like button. It's very important. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. You can hit the button right there. You can check out last week's Abandoned video right here. And you can check out this random video here. And make sure you tune in tomorrow night. And we'll see you for the next Abandoned video. Thanks for tuning in.